So, at the moment, God has put it on my heart to keep things real. And that's what I'm going to try and do. I keep most of my personal life off of social media, and I will continue to, but I'm going to be a bit more open about my actual testimony and my journey with Jesus. So, at the moment, I'm feeling very confused. And I hope that in these videos of keeping it real, Ian Beale style, some people might be able to relate more than just the hunky-dory stuff that you see online a lot of the time. I am confused. I'm a bit lost. I have no idea what God is doing with me. There are times when I get really angry and upset. At the moment, I'm in a bit of a wilderness / Job season. I've had to give up an awful lot to follow the path of God, and it has been heartbreaking, to be honest with you. I think a lot of people see me show up online and think that since finding God I've just been very happy. I haven't. I've had to say goodbye to a lot of people that I loved and cared about. I've had to follow the voice of God even when it didn't match my own voice. I've had to follow his plans when they weren't my plans. There are things I wanted to do, people I wanted to be around, and God said no. And sometimes following the path of God can quite literally shatter your own illusions of what you want your life to be and how you want it to be. And many days I'll sit there and just think, why have I had to give up everything that matters to me? Why have I had to go through all of this, all these trials and tribulations? But for example, I hate social media. I'm actually not a very sociable person. I've said this 1,000 times. I don't really like people. I love them, but I like to keep myself to myself. I've been way too hurt. I've had way too much sneaky behaviour, from people very, very close to me as well. I don't really want people in my business. I don't want to be talking to people. I'm very standoffish, so when people kind of pick up on that vibe about me, I'm not sure. Well, yeah, you're kind of right, because I don't want people close to me. So when God said, I want you speaking your testimony online, I was like, I don't want to do that. I'm going to open up so much nastiness towards me. And that's how it felt. I was just like, I don't want to do this. At first, anyway, I don't want to do this. I don't want to put myself out there. I don't want to open up a load of stalking and weirdness. You know what people are like online. They're just strange, some of them. So I had to be obedient to God. And I done that. And I can see the fruit of that. I can see people leaving the occult, and I can see people developing their relationships with God, and that's fantastic. I want to do all things for him because he plucked me out of hell, quite literally. He plucked me out of witchcraft. He plucked me out of hell. I owe it to him. But in my human self, I do go through a lot of disappointment. I go through a lot of upset. I go through a lot of anger. I go through a lot of heartbreak because, as I said before, there are things God tells me to do I don't want to do. I don't want to. I'm tired. I'm a mum of 3. There's things I don't want to do. But he says this is where I'm leading you. So obedience with God isn't always as cut and dry as, oh yeah, that sounds great, let's go. No, sometimes it goes against everything that you think, that you want, that you desire, or even that you know. Sometimes God will ask you to do something, you'll be like, I don't know how to do that. I don't even know where to start with that. But what the most important thing is keeping conversation with God. I tell him everything. I tell him how I feel that day. It's not always, oh, thank you, God. Sometimes I'm like, what on earth are you doing? Why have you taken this person away? Why have you shut the door on that? Why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why are you telling me to do this? Why? Explain. Where is this going? And he answers me. We have a respectful relationship where he talks to me and I talk to him. He's not just asking me to be obedient and deal with it. He wants to see my process here. He wants me to bring up what I'm struggling with, what I'm battling with. Like being thrown in the deep end, being on social media and getting a big page. I don't want a big page, quite frankly. Like I said, I don't like social media, but that was God's plan. So, I'm constantly having to battle my human self. I'm tired. I don't want to do an awful lot now. I've been through an awful lot in my life. I don't want to do too much. I certainly don't want to be involving myself with people or being in the public eye. But God said different. So I chose to be obedient. And I think that the main message of this is sometimes God will break your heart. He'll break your heart. I mean, he gives us the choice. He's never told me you're going to do this. He gave me a choice. And I said, okay. Not realising actually how much I would have to give up, really, and how much I'd have to go through. But he gave me a choice, and sometimes it breaks your heart. It breaks illusions that you have. And I think that's the hardest bit. A lot of us live in fantasy. A lot of us live in ideologies and the way we were brought up sometimes. And when God shatters those illusions, it can be so painful. Because everything you've ever known, everything you've ever done, everyone you've ever met, suddenly it doesn't make sense. Suddenly it's not the same. Suddenly you don't see it the same. You don't see the world the same. It's incredibly isolating sometimes. It's incredibly lonely, challenging, and you have to fight against yourself, which I think is what he means when he says, break your flesh, carry your cross kind of thing. Because, yeah, some people go from, like myself, I only became a Christian when I was, 28, 29, 31 now. That's a long period of time not following Jesus, not knowing the Bible. Do you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, you have to change your whole life, how you do things, how you see things. It's hard. And sometimes it makes no sense. When you're in that wilderness period, when you're in the Job season, you just feel like banging your head against the wall sometimes. You're like, have I done this right? Have I heard God right? Have I made the mistake here? Have I walked away from the wrong thing or said or done the wrong thing? You have all these kind of questions. So not only are you fighting yourself, you got an enemy against you as well, who puts things in your head. So I don't understand why a lot of people say that being a Christian is easy. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. Especially when it comes to dealing with people. I've seen some behaviours in the last couple of years that warranted a lot of revenge, warranted a lot of telling, a lot of fight back. And I didn't, because God told me, no, I'm going to handle it. Do you know how hard that is? Do you know how hard it is to watch someone lie on your name? Do you know how hard it is to watch people do madnesses and you just got to sit there? But God did it. God come through. But it is hard. Either way, it's hard. It's hard to go against the world. It's hard to go against yourself. It's hard to be in limbo. But let me tell you something.
Planning to move? Choose Pods, the most awarded container moving company. Pods brings the container to you. Then we'll take
it. I've never felt peace like it. I have moments where I'm like this. I have moments like this morning. I had a good cry. I had an argument with God a little bit. And I said, what are we doing here? Because it doesn't make any sense. Why am I doing this? Why am I putting myself out there to get nastiness, haters, stalkers, and weird people? They come out of the woodwork. Why am I doing this? What am I doing this for? And he said, but look at the flip side, Jess. Look at what people see. Look what people learn from a testimony. And it's true, because other people's testimonies and other people's realness online is what helped me with my journey too. So he will shift your perspective out. He will give you a peace that surpasses all understanding. And the message I want to give every single person watching this today: be honest with yourself and be honest with God. He's not asking you to deny anything. He's asking you to bring it to him. He's not asking you to sing hunky-dory when it's all bad. He's asking you to come to him and talk to him and have it out with him. He can handle your questions. He can handle your anger. He can handle your upset. He understands. He understands you. He knows what you've been through. He knows what you're going through. He knows your heart. He knows your soul. And a little bit of encouragement for you: God is not just in your past or your present. He's in your future too. He knows the plans he has for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. And releasing control can be a hard thing to do. A lot of us, as I wrote in my book, we cling to control out of trauma. We cling to control out of being let down or not knowing what's coming next. And when you give up all of that control to let God do what he needs to do, it's hard work. It's so hard, and it can be painful, it can be scary, it can be confusing, all of the above. So please do not feel like you're failing or you're slipping backwards or you're not a good enough Christian. Yes, you are, because you haven't walked away. You are standing firm with God and you are being obedient. And there is not enough people out there saying well done for that, because it's very easy to get back in the world. It's very easy to follow yourself. It's very easy to crash and walk out. Trust me, I get it. And you are following him. He will be with you every step of the way. And like I just said, he has plans to prosper you, not to harm you. What God takes away, he sees things you don't see. He hears things you don't hear. You have to let him do it. Go through the motion, go through the pain, and above all, keep that relationship with him alive. Keep talking to him, keep giving it to him. Don't push him away, and don't draw yourself away, because there will come a time where all of this makes sense. Everything that has unfolded will start to make sense. God bless every single one of you.